Lesson 11, how to do active listening and still get heard. In this lesson, you'll learn how to achieve the goal that lots of people want, how to both succeed at active listening and still get your point heard. You'll learn 2 new skills to help you achieve that: acknowledgement and a fun skill from the world of improv called yes and. By the end of this lesson, you'll be able to have your cake and eat it too. So the following Tuesday, Anna headed towards her regular get-together with Kathy. She started with, okay, I had some successes, but I'm wondering, how do I do both active listening and also express my point of view at the same time? I need a balance. Kathy said, that's very doable. You just use the skill of acknowledgement, or yes and, right after you do active listening. They're both learnable skills. Then people are going to be a lot more willing to hear you. Said Anna. She squinted at Kathy skeptically. Kathy left. It's doable, I promise. Let's start with the skill of acknowledgement. That's where you say out loud the best of who someone is being. You say what's distinct or special about them. Anna made a face. That sounds kind of fake. But Kathy said, no, you have to be real about it. It's like giving someone a present. Specifically, it celebrates someone's strengths and helps them to expand those strengths. It tells the truth about the person or the team's biggest asset, and then it makes that asset even bigger. Often, it's the thing the person or the team is unable to see in the moment. In fact, you may have more confidence in them than they have in themselves. It has 2 parts. First, delivering the acknowledgement. Then second, noticing the impact. And like active listening, it's a muscle that gets stronger with practice. But how does it help me get better at Agile? Asked Anna. It's especially good for Agile, said Kathy, because it raises respect, trust, and courage in people. Here's some sample language for you. Look at how far you guys have come in the past 5 sprints, or you are all over this, or you're courageous. But Anna still pushed back. Acknowledgement seems like a good thing, but how can it help me get heard? Fair question, said Kathy. Giving somebody acknowledgement helps you get heard because it invokes the rule of reciprocity. People generally appreciate acknowledgement if it's sincere, and then they naturally want to give back. Giving back can take the form of them offering space for you to voice your views. Even better, acknowledgement grows trust and healthy relationships. Anna leaned back in her chair and thought about it. Okay, that puts it into perspective for me. Let's move on, said Kathy. The second skill that helps you get heard is actually similar to active listening. It comes from the world of improvisation, and it's called yes and. It's an Agile superpower because it raises collaboration levels instantly. It's about first accepting what the other person has stated. That's the yes part. Doesn't mean you agree, it just means you accept, I heard you. Then you expand on that line of thinking. That's the and part. It gives a huge boost to brainstorming, communication, and making actual progress. Anna looked tentative. She said, this is really new for me, but I'm tracking with you so far. Good, said Kathy. So the yes part tells people, hey, thanks for your contribution to this topic. And let's all be open to propositions that might emerge here. That fosters a sense of cooperation versus shutting down the suggestion and effectively ending that line of communication. Anna stood up to pace and just kind of think out loud. So saying yes encourages people to listen and be receptive to various ideas versus snap judgments, she said. Right, said Kathy. Anna stopped her pacing. But hang on a minute. I don't want to say yes to everything because I actually don't agree with everything people say. That's okay, Kathy said. I know. Acknowledging the idea doesn't mean you agree with it. It just means you're open and curious. But Anna broke in again. But so far, this is about me hearing the other person. When is it my turn to be heard? To lead, I need to have a clear, guiding voice around our product vision and customer needs. Okay, that's fair, said Kathy. The next step is to add new information into the narrative. That's your turn to get heard. And the other person is much more likely to hear you if you just offer them an open-minded yes. Kathy pressed on. So the other trick is getting heard, she explained. It's taking it one step at a time in order. How so? Asked Anna. You got to do active listening first so people feel heard. They're not going to be willing to move forward until they feel heard. Then give acknowledgement, and then do yes and. Anna felt a little overwhelmed. That feels like a lot to remember. At first it is, said Kathy. But do you remember when you first learned to drive? So many details. But now it's automatic, right? That's how active listening is going to become for you with a little practice. In this lesson, you learned 2 ways to both succeed at active listening and still get your point heard. Acknowledgement and yes and. In the next lesson, we'll find out why listening to both yourself and others helps you live up to the first principle of the Agile Manifesto, individuals and interactions over process and tools. You'll become a better Agile communicator and relationship builder. In fact, we'll explore how to respond to Anna's comment when she protested, listening to yourself isn't always bad, especially when there's lots of views in the room and I need to make my point heard.